Let me ask you, why is Modi earning praise? Now, we've heard the opposition. Is it all pre-scripted to give Modi an ego massage? And if so, why didn't world leaders give such an ego massage to other Indian prime ministers, especially when India has been incredible for a while now? That's what the opposition says. For 70 years, we have been incredible, more so after Manmohan Singh, etc. So, can you hear me? Can you hear me, doctor?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so the quick question is, why is Modi earning praise globally, has a following here in India, his brand has traction? Is it all pre-scripted, event managed to give Modi an ego massage? And if so, why didn't world leaders give such ego massages to other Indian prime ministers, even though brand India has been incredible for some time now?
Yeah, Rahul, good evening to you and to my fellow panelists. There are two issues here. The first one is undoubtedly Modi is one of the strongest and most powerful leaders in India and abroad. And as Judah has said, that
as well as hatred. I mean, if you are powerful, you are hated. I mean, as you know, New York Times and Washington Post don't go after the president of Papua New Guinea, do they? But they've been relentlessly after Narendra Modi. So that's that. Now, and by the way, I think you asked for who's number 2 in TMC. It's definitely after Mamta Dey. But if I say it is Rijuda, then he'll be removed. So I will not say it is Rijuda. But, you know, we can tackle this complex question that you've asked in two ways. One, we can be cynical about it, and we can be philosophical about it. So let me just put my facts on the table. If we are to be cynical, Rahul, then there are 3 or 4 points. Number one, India is now quickly getting immensely powerful and strong and with a huge financial purse to spend. And we've seen that, how the Western nations and other nations are garnering for a stake in this pie. You saw recently when India bought those tens of hundreds of planes, how the president and prime ministers of the countries that were involved in selling those planes tweeted almost immediately their vociferous praise towards India and Narendra Modi. So obviously business interests are paramount for these nations. Number two, it also cannot be ignored that they have their domestic constituencies that are immigrant Indians. So as you rightly put it, in the UK it is Labour and Conservatives, and in the Americas it is you know, Democrats and Republicans, and they have their own share of Indians who support these parties. So something to do with that as well. And thirdly, I think that is very important, and a foreign policy expert would possibly tell you that they are clearly using India as a counter to China. Now, how have we fared is my worry, because China, that clearly destroyed the world in the last 3 years, responsible for COVID, destroyed the economy, and much worse. We should have actually replaced China, like government organizations in India had predicted, that 87% of what we source from China can be sourced from a third country cheaper. There should have been a white paper as to how many companies we have wrested from China and brought to India. So, on the other hand, our trade imbalance has, you know, catapulted to astronomical levels of $101 and $102 billion. So, we should not have been trading that much with China, and what we're doing is the opposite. So, that remains a worry. Now, let me come to the philosophical part, because enough of cynicism. You know, when Modi talks about Vishwaguru, India being a Vishwaguru, just 30 seconds, what does he mean by this? Personally, I believe that he truly imbibes and wants to popularize this phrase that he uses very often, which is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is also the motto of G20. Now, I haven't personally known of a phrase that is so scientifically accurate, that talks about the world being a family and the world prospering only because the world being a family. Now let us look at India. Despite of what, all the accusations that come, you know, from Washington Post and all these fancy media organizations, India is one of the most friendly countries, 34th most friendly country in the world. Our refugee policy has been hailed by none other than UNHCR. We trade with 194 countries around the world. We trade worth $1.4 trillion. We are a signatory to the Paris climate deal, even though many Western nations balked away from it. But we, much to our own discomfort, have decided that no, India must put its foot forward so that the world